Hi, I'm Heather Dorn with Noisography.com. I'm here with Kuato. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Awesome. You guys have 3 EPs out. Are you currently working on a new one?
Yes, we are. We're actually working on a full-length album at the moment. We're about 30% done. We have 4 new songs pretty much finished, so we're just trying to get a good compilation of material just so we can kind of pick the best and, sort out the wheat from the chaff kind of thing.
And you have usually pretty long songs. How do you guys start the writing process with that?
Usually it's one person bringing like an idea, like a single concept to the table, and then we all come together as a band and just kind of add the parts, pick and choose, and just do the whole process. It's very organic and it's very like team oriented. Team Kuato. Yeah.
Also, you've changed up some members. Has that affected the sound of your band?
Subtly, but I still feel like the Kuato sound has still kind of transcended all the EPs. Even though, like, I think each EP has different members on it, but everyone kind of gets what we're trying to do, and it's hard to kind of meld personal influence into, like, if you're in a punk band, you can't really play punk riffs for 12 minutes, so it's kind of a natural evolution of the style.
And your last EP had some weird names. Who usually names the songs on the album?
It's pretty much all of us. We just think of weird stuff. Like, we're all weird dudes, so when we think of something funny, it just sticks. And well, one thing we want to avoid is, especially being like a new band, to come out of the gate and be like perceived as too serious. So all our songs come from a serious place, but there's no sense of having a sentence for a song name. So we had fun with it, just to show people our softer side, I guess.
Was there a theme? Because one was like Afghanistan, Roger.
Nothing intentional. It just, after we looked at it, it was kind of like, oh, they're kind of weirdly, political and hot spots on the planet right now. But that's totally just coincidence. I would love to put meaning to those songs, but.
So who does the artwork for your albums?
Our first album was just something I threw together on Photoshop, but our last 2, a friend of ours, Rob Kenny, who's a really talented artist from Halifax, and he basically just came to see our shows, and he's a very strange guy. So basically he had his own vision when he heard us play, so whatever he saw he kind of put onto canvas, and it turned out perfectly. It was meant to be, kind of thing.
It has kind of a dark element to it.
He's a very dark guy. Yeah, he is.
So what is the concept for your next album?
We sort of been toying with the idea of doing something sort of based around, ironically, my heritage and partly Mike Dion's here as well, which is it's a French Acadian. We're French Acadian descendants, and there's a thing called the expulsion of the Acadians, which happened in 1755. And yeah, so the idea is like a lot of dark, crazy things happened in that period. Like there was, families slaughtered. There was like complete communities burned out and chased from their towns. It was like guerrilla warfare in the woods. It's really funny talking about this serious subject with face paint on. But so this is what happened, and it's sort of like we sort of got inspired by our Acadian culture, like in the last 3 or 4 years. Like we always grew up with it. We went to French schools and we learned about it, but it was sort of like you didn't really think that it played too much of a part in your daily life until you sort of become an adult and realize that a lot of the like sort of cultural values you learned really come to play later on in life. So we started, getting really interested in it, and it's a really interesting history, and there's a lot of crazy things that happen. So I think that's sort of like a part of us anyway, a part of our makeup as far as like who we are. And Acadians are very musical people, so it's not very surprising that a lot of us are musicians. And it's sort of like a way of me to explore my own heritage through music, as well as sort of like show it to my friends and sort of like take part in this whole like weird cultural thing that happened in the Maritimes that a lot of people don't know about that aren't involved in the community. Because when we used to tour a lot, and it sort of happen naturally where people would ask us about where we're from, and people would, and you'd start telling people about this, and a lot of Canadians had no idea. So it's sort of a way to bring awareness to, not in sort of a negative way or in a sort of like you owe us our land way, just sort of in an educational way for people to know, part of history of this province and then of the Maritimes and how we play a part in it. And sort of there's a lot of cool imagery I think that we can take from that with our music. and that's sort of like looking what we're going to do as far as like with album artwork and sort of like the thematic element of the Acadian Expulsion.
Awesome. And you're going to have Steven do the artwork for it?
Yeah, well, Steven's a very talented artist, and he's recently joined the band, and I'd like to exploit all the members as much as I can. And he's and I'm gonna send him some books and some crazy stories to kind of draw off. But basically, like, it's carte blanche. You know, Steve's he's done some posters and stuff for bands I've played in, and he's a very talented artist, and I'm excited to, like, one thing about getting Rob Kennedy to do our artwork before was a lot of people didn't know who he was, and then he started to get, like, selling some pieces and everything. So I'd like to get, you know, it's good to bring attention to people who I think contribute a lot to the artistic makeup of the Province in a way that's sort of not your standard maritime folk art kind of way. You know, I think there's a lot of people all around here, and there's a lot of people getting attention recently, and Steve's one of those guys that, like, have a sort of different approach to the art.